Hello, everyone. Welcome to SpeedGaming 3. Today we're doing another spoiler open for Link to the Past Randomizer. My name is Kianto, and I am here with Alex. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. I look forward to seeing a spectacle be put on by our runners.
Indeed, I'm kind of happy to see how things go, because the last couple of times that I've been commentating has been really interesting. There was one run where we had hookshot and hookshot cave. And I've been noticing that a couple of these runs we've had Boots and Turtle Rocks. So what stuff do we think to expect them?
Trying to think back to some of the recent ones I've seen. I believe I saw. I did do one. I did commentate one a couple days ago in the morning, and that was an interesting one because our runners took a very divergent path, and then they kind of synced back up, and then in Ganon's tower they were almost frame for frame to with each other, and it was just a really neck and neck race. And it was super exciting to watch.
Oh, I believe I was watching that too. Yeah, that was really close. There was like maybe a 3-second difference.
Yeah, and then there was a little bit of a hiccup in the middle, and so they finished. I think it was ultimately 14 seconds apart at the end.
Well, we hope to see some really fantastic stuff today in today's run. Today we are, let's see, we've got Tabby Cat 54 and Chimo running. I believe this is going to be Chimo's second run in the qualifiers.
I would have to look at the standings.
I had them up actually.
Oh, here's the sheet.
Yeah, so this will be Chimo's second run. As for Tabby Cat, this is going to be their third. So looks like they are starting off. Oh, okay. One to the Sanctuary, one over to Uncle.
All right, so let's see what we're going to find off of this Uncle dive. It's always an exciting one.
A little bit of sync in there. You know, I don't think I've ever seen...
Oh, Tabby's going to start off with a Houlihan. Okay. Get that early money in.
Looks like we got gloves over in the special chest.
Oh, did not get the Houlihan.
And we got a bow off of Uncle.
Now, in most normal cases, you know, assuming you did not know the locations of all the items already, you would actually usually take that bow and maybe potentially dive into escape. Having a nice, reliable weapon usually makes escape a nice dive.
But since this is a spoiler open, both of our racers pretty much have an idea of where they need to go, what route to do, and what items to grab, since they were able to take about, what, 15 minutes to look over their stuff?
Right. The 15-minute study period to essentially look over the major items that you're going to want to get. You can also see the the dungeon rewards for all of the different dungeons, so you know where you need to go. And pre-plan your route.
Yeah. And with that being the case, our tracker today, who is Artarl, sorry if I butchered your name, will be tracking for us today, and they've already got the crystals, the pendants, and it looks like Wake is required for Misery Mire and Turtle Rock as well. So, let's see. Ooh, Pendant of Courage and Ice Palace.
Just one bomb drops there off of the tree pole as well.
Ooh.
Really nice, good bombs.
Bombs are always nice.
And knowing what we know, see Chimo over here heading towards Desert, so I imagine this is just a very fast Agina check. It looks like Tabby's going to be following close behind too.
Good call on Agina. You know, for the longest time I pronounced it Agina.
You know, I've heard of people who said Agina, and then I've also heard the people who say Agina, and I've always said Agina, and I still don't know what's right.
Wow.
Oh, that was a pretty nifty rock crab as well, dropping the 10 arrows. So
Yeah.
our runners with their bows will now have, well, Tabby Cat at least did it now as ammunition.
Yep, and it looks like we just pulled Hammer from Agina's cave. So that's pretty neat. No
Well,
sword at the moment.
we're a Moon Pearl from Dark World.
Oh yeah.
And that'll open up a lot of things.
It looks like Chima's now making his way over to Lake Hylia. Whose audio do we have going on right now? Is it? Oh, it's Chima's. Okay. Oh, Moldorm got stuck.
Find sniping mini Moldorms using the bow to be fun.
Okay, so we get a fire rod and a blue mail.
And also grabbed an extra piece of heart, I do believe. It's always interesting to see certain runners prioritize pieces of heart early and which ones do not.
Yeah, especially in these runs, I've heard that because runners can do these in like sub-hour, you know, they finish with Ganon with like 6-7 hearts, so trying to get all the safeties, it looks like.
I think oftentimes if you can find it inside of your route along the way, you'll grab things like the progressive armors. But one of the things when it comes to mastering spoiler runs in particular is how well do you trust yourself in low percentage?
Absolutely. And Chima going for 300 rupees. I would imagine
We did see Tabby go for a Houlihan early. Didn't get it, but yeah.
Oh,
now, wow.
Oh, there's our Moon Pearl.
I see why Tabby wanted Houlihan. I mean, with the gear that we're looking at currently, we're a sword away from a Skull Woods clear. Yeah, and back on the HP thing, you're probably going to see most runners grab a heart container so they can find along the way. And that's also the lamp there in Blind's Hut.
It'll make navigating dark rooms easier. Always nice.
Yeah, the lamp is most definitely not a required item, but most runners will grab it if they can route it in. Just makes more convenience.
Yeah. I know personally I still can't navigate the dark rooms in Misery Mire, so...
I'm weird and I like to stay almost always within logic. So I tend to just stray away from dark rooms until I get the lamp. But that's just because I like to play around with logic.
So it looks like Chimo and Tabby are diverging again. Chimo's gonna go talk to the old man, and Tabby's in Dark World.
Yeah, interesting. Tabby also did not go into Blind's Hut. So did not grab that lamp and heart container. It's going to chess game, though.
Very, very interesting. Nope. Well, there's our... Oh, there's the other bow.
Yeah, those are silvers. Okay. That's going to make killing a bunch of bosses much easier. And...
Look, that immediately going in.
Yeah, I mean, this is a fully clearable Thieves' Town, including the big chest. And speaking of, that is our small key to get to the big chest.
Very nice.
One of those things that I've personally forgotten about as well sometimes about grabbing that small key, because otherwise you cannot open the door to get into the room. And also one of those things that's definitely cost me a lot of time in key sanity runs.
I don't think I've ever really done a key sanity run. That's just... It looks too complicated for me.
It's certainly something. For some reason, that is just the game mode that I love to play. Meanwhile, Chima going into Tower of Hera. Both dungeons that our runners are in are crystals. And both very simple to do.
Yep. Tabby went and got a heart over in... I believe that's the compass chest? Or is that the map chest?
In Thieves' Town? Isn't that the vanilla big key?
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Because for some reason, my brain just remembers the fourth chest being the vanilla big key.
Yeah, it's been a while since I've done any standard runs on these, so...
Actually, now that I think about it, I can look. Nope, that is the compass chest. I lied.
Oh. So we got a exclamation mode in chat. I'm assuming that's to check to see what the mode is for the game. This is a spoiler open run, so all of our racers are doing a default open, getting through as quickly with as many chests, or with as few items as possible. All of our racers know where all the items are with a 15-minute check before the race starts. Looks like there was another heart container in Tower of Hera.
I guess it was in the big chest.
Ah, okay.
Which to think about, going out of your way to drop down to the big chest and such, definitely tells you how much priority one has on getting those early hearts.
Ooh, shoulder one was a little close there.
Yeah, you definitely do not want to get knocked down in that middle hole. And down goes Moldorm.
Oh, and there's our first sword.
All right. Now, at least the fighter sword will make this pretty simple. I imagine both of our runners will probably grab silvers. I'm just thinking about swords coming to Skull Woods, like that kind of routing. But I can definitely imagine that Chima would grab them, just because if you can get them early on, I do think that the time save is significant enough if you can grab them early enough.
Oh, absolutely. Looks like we're gonna go through Spiral Cave now.
All right, here's that long-awaited Thieves Town big chest. Boots!
Well, at least it's not on Turtle Rock this time.
Well, I do like this also as well. I'm pretty sure it is faster to mirror and boots your way back because you have the long corridors that you can dash with the maiden here. Unfortunately, it does not have a sword, though, so I cannot dash through enemies. And those were Titans over on Chima's side.
Ooh. Very, very nice. So, let's see here. Blind fight with the hammer. I wonder if that's more or less complicated than a sword.
As long as, well, if you stay on script, I believe it's not that bad. We're a little off script here, but that's fine. As long as you're not striking upwards, usually. Just because of that, janky hitbox.
Right.
I mean, so far, so good, though. Off script, but we're still looking okay. Oh, one heart. Oh.
Yep.
Personally, I hate doing the blind fight.
I've never really had any huge complications, but then again, I've never gone into the blind fight without a sword. And Chimo here is going to be doing, or attempting, fake flippers, but didn't get the trip off there.
Yeah, with that a little bit limited between arrows and bombs. Yeah, it's a little difficult to get that splash delete.
Yep. I think that's my favorite way to do the fake flippers, though. So, Chimo maybe heading over to do the pixel one then.
Oh.
Oh.
Oh, also did pick up the hook shot. Huh.
Where was... Oh, goodness, where was Hookshot? I wasn't even paying attention.
Probably up in Paradox. I'm just going to do the screen transition here. That's usually my preferred way of doing the fake flippers.
Sometimes, though, I've noticed that that way with the fake flippers is... What's the word for it? It doesn't let you, Oh, it's the waterfall cave that I'm thinking, too. But I can't put my
Well, with the waterfall cave, you need the moon pearl because then you go in and then you leave and then you go back in and then you can walk.
Oh, you have to have the moon pearl to do that?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. See, that's... I didn't know
Yep.
that.
Yeah, as long as you have the moon pearl, when you go to do that, you can access the waterfall cave and open up the chest just fine.
Fair enough.
We are seeing Chima go here into Pendant Ice Palace, so there's got to be something here we're looking for.
I don't like the looks of this.
I just don't like Ice Palace. I like Cold Stare, though. Cold Stare is a really fun fight, in my opinion.
Oh, absolutely. Although I would say my worst or most hated dungeon would have to be Mr. Mire. But then again, that seems to be everybody's.
Fire Rod. Fire Rod was Mini Moldorm Cave?
Yes. With one of the progressive males.
Getting a lot better recently about remembering where items were picked up.
It also helps when, we can do code commentating like this and we can bounce, the...
Oh, you definitely needed to pick up that pot for the button.
There we go.
I don't know, usually I'm terrible at remembering, but that's sometimes when, you're 2 minutes or 2 hours into an open seed and somebody asks you where was something you found in the first 5 minutes and you're like,
Yeah, I've definitely been a victim of that myself. Oh,
It looks like Tabby's also going to grab that heart of the big key, the big chest in Tower of Hera.
Oh, it was nice.
And that was the Sanctuary heart, actually.
Oh, okay. Always nice to see that.
Yep, restored it back to full HP. I always like to try to pay attention to in spoiler seeds when runners grab the Sank heart because they usually do it with a reason, and almost always I see them grab it. So I always find that interesting.
Yeah, and it's, I believe, the only heart container that, sorry, distracted by Tabby using a bomb. But the Sanctuary Heart's the only one that refills the entire heart containers, whereas bosses, you have to get the heart container, get the crystal or the pendant, and then it refills your health.
Abby grabbing her first sword, as well as second crystal. First crystal, sorry. Died in the blind fight.
Oh, yeah, that's... Ooh. Oh, well, we found out what was in Ice Palace. That would be the Quake Medallion.
Which we need for both of our medallion dungeons, and waited there to check and see, and has decided that we need to stay, so there must be something else.
Alright, now Tabby going into Spiral Cave, and I'm actually going to pay attention this time to Spiral and Paradox, so I know exactly what's been picked up.
Well, Spiral, I know, was gloves. Well,
Right.
mitts, I guess.
Yeah.
Getting into a fight with those red berries.
I wonder if she was actually going for Cold Stare. Does that mean Zaha has something? Oh, no. Just a flute.
There you go. Yep, we also just quickly saw that hook shot there out of Tabby as well.
There we go.
I imagine that this might be Chimo covering what we've already seen out of Tabby and going back into Kakariko, activating that flute, maybe going into Thieves Town, grabbing his boots, kind of completing that little chain, the sequence chain that we saw out of Tabby, or that we saw from Tabby first.
Yeah, I think it's at this point that both of our runners are kind of retracing each other's steps now. Tabby's going into Moldorm to grab the Fire Rod.
Yeah, and very likely also going into that Skull Woods. Already having that Fire Rod that Tabby just now picked up at a mini Moldorm cave. As well as her blue mail and another piece of heart.
Yep. Wonder if that means Chimo is technically ahead right now.
It's in a weird spot because Tabby has all of Thieves Town done, which is not necessarily a particularly long dungeon, but you do have to go out of your way to get the big key chest. So, yeah, and Chimo is gonna grab his silvers as well. So I like this. I like this a lot. And got more money than he spent to play the game.
Always nice. All right, so this is definitely the retrace moment as Tabby's going in Ice Palace to grab the Quake Medallion and the flute, and Chimo might actually just go through the whole dungeon and fight blind now that he's got the sword.
I think it is certainly much easier to fight blind using a sword. Obviously, the hammer hitbox has always been janky, but. One thing I've been thinking about is, I mean, I know that we need flute, obviously, in order to complete the seed. Misery Mire is a crystal. But is there something in Checkerboard Cave or the shed that we want to know? I'll see Arterial pointing out that Chimo did not pick up the big key.
Uh-oh.
Just grabbed the heart container and small key and now sees that he did not pick up that big key.
Come on, Chimo, you just got to go down a floor.
Likely looking over back at the spoiler log just to make sure which chest it was in. I did see something relatively similar in a race recently where a runner went all the way to the back of pod and did not have the big key.
Oh no!
And I'm trying to remember where it was. I think it was Harmless Hellway. So it's not that bad to do.
But I mean, to make up all that time, just to be able to go and get a big key, yeah. Successful bomb jump over there for Tabby.
Only just being able to pull that off because of blue mail.
Neither of our runners have bottles, I've noticed. Oh boy.
Makes me think if there must be an easy one along on the route for potential safety, or they're planning on looping in something like Sick Kid later.
Anything could happen, honestly.
I mean, we've already seen our runners take not necessarily a vastly diverse route, but they went two different ways, and now they're just, they high-fived for a second, and then they went back on their separate ways.
So there is the flute. Tabby stepped out of the way from the Quake Medallion.
Yeah, I think it's because she went towards the flute first.
Hmm.
I think dungeon-wise, Ice Palace might be like one of my least favorites. And mostly because that ice room right there, that Tabby just went through.
Yeah, it can be a little difficult to navigate. I think you can use a hook shot to, I think Tabby actually did that as I'm saying that now. But, you can hook shot to the stairs.
Still hate it.
Yeah. One mechanic that I've noticed, is that I'm watching as the mirror and then the save and quit. Very interesting. One mechanic that I've always wondered is you have the Pegasus boots. You can sprint, but how does that stop you from running on the ice? Like if you're sliding around.
you know, this game came out in what, 1991 in North America? Who knows?
Can't question everything the developers choose. So
But we're gonna see Tabby go get that flute now. Interesting.
Yep. Or not the flute, but the
Yeah, the lamp. Sorry.
Yeah.
I was thinking about activating the flute.
Tabby now with their 6th card.
Yep, and Chimo on the same amount as well.
Ooh.
Using that sword, staying on the script this time.
Oh! Oh, that was close! But blind with 300 bucks. Hey, you know, if I could defeat a boss for $300, I'd do it.
Yeah, I mean, you're getting paid for your works. Tabby going here into Skull Woods as well.
But then again, that's pretty much every other video game out there that rewards you for... We're not going to go there. So Chimo completing Blind's... they're going to go to the dig game?
Alright. How many digs are we going to get today?
2, 3, 4, 5...
Quake was in Ice Tea chest.
I love the minigame music. But then again, the very first game that I ever played was Sonic the Hedgehog 2 on the Sega Genesis. 27, 28, 29 for the Ice Rod.
You know, the Sega Genesis was like one of the most important parts of my childhood.
Yeah, I think it was for just about everyone. But then again, personally speaking, my parents were gamers, so I learned a lot from them.
Mine were not necessarily, but
we got flippers from Stumpy. So,
okay.
Not gonna worry too much about fake flippers anymore.
True, but we do need those for Swamp Palace, so we'll be glad to have them. And Swamp Palace is clearable.
So it does look like Tracker is having one of those days again. Not our Tracker. Terrell's doing really good at doing the tracking for us, but I've noticed that there's been a bit of a lag in the background, so
hate whenever this happens, because then Twitch chat just kind of gets on your back about it, and you're like, I clicked the buttons, they haven't updated though.
Yeah. So Tabby finishing up with Mothula getting the green goot bottle from the crystal. So a little bit of magic recovery as Chimo got the flippers and is going straight for Swamp Palace, of course.
This is clearable and a crystal, so who knows what could we find here?
Yep.
I mean, this is Swamp Palace. We always know this as Sword Palace. It's just, well,
speaking of, getting yourselves a Master Sword in the first item chest.
I would say I cannot win, but apparently I can just win today. Oh, I'm not going to win the key under the doormat, though. We already got that.
Yep. I've heard this term being used. Commentator's curse.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, wow. Our tracker just instantly lit up with, I don't know, like 8 different things.
Yep. So Tabby now going in for the blind fight. Doing pretty good so far.
Has a sword this time, so should be much happier, much more comfortable.
Ooh. Uh-oh. So it looks like Chimo is not checking left side today.
Must not be anything important enough. And down goes blind on Tabby's side. Nicely done. We get a bomb diver down from Chimo. Like to see those.
Nothing in the chest, unfortunately. There's Tabby with their $300.
Looks like Tabby's going to do that South Dark World run. Interesting path going that way and not... Is it faster to do the drop downs than to drop down to that fence one there?
I feel like it is.
I wonder if just the animation of picking up that dark rock is just too much. I don't know. There's a lot of things you can time in this game.
Yeah, strangely enough, yeah. I can't really describe it at the moment.
Got the Argus fight over on Chimo's side. Nice Master Sword Argus is not that bad with sword spins.
Yep.
Swap the silvers.
Ooh.
Oh. I always miss the first one.
Oh, no, this is the second.
And got the fourth one. There we go.
Vanilla Heart Crystal.
We like to see that, though. Up to 7 hearts now. And third crystal on the board.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as our tracker program will update.
Okay, so Tabby's going back for the flute. Because I noticed that Tabby went and got the ice rod and then mirrored back in. So this is interesting. I found out about this. Apparently there was a board game of like the first Zelda game. Did you know that?
I did not.
Yeah. I don't know if you can find it anywhere in stores, but you can definitely play it on a couple of like tabletop programs out there. So Chimo is going straight for Misery Mire.
I mean, going into Misery Mire with that cane is usually a pretty bold move.
Yeah. And Arterel letting us know that the board game is really fun. I've seen a couple of people play it before, but apparently you can only get like a maximum of 7 hearts on the board game.
Interesting. Also, we are seeing Tabby mirroring to get the shovel dig spot for a heart container as well.
Ooh, always nice.
Which I don't think we saw Chimo do.
Nope.
No, because they're on equal HP, and Chimo just got the heart off of Argus. Okay.
Yeah, Chimo went into Swamp Palace immediately after getting the flippers. And Aramsu saying French, there are vanilla or French vanilla cane. So,
personally, between vanilla and French vanilla, I do prefer French vanilla, but we'll see.
No, both are too sweet for me. If it comes to ice cream, I'll do vanilla, but for coffee, I usually go mocha.
You know, depending on which mocha or French vanilla I get, they're the same level of sweetness to me. But I just like my coffee sweet anyway. I'll either drink it with a little bit of cream and sweet, or I'll drink it super sweet and no cream.
Really? Interesting.
But it depends on the type of coffee that it is. If it's not like a good enough roast, I guess, I won't drink it black. I'm very picky.
Everybody tends to be with their coffee. So, let's see here. We've got Tabby going into Swamp Palace now to go and make those couple of checks. Oh, and Canis Maria on the big chest in Misery Mire.
Hey, whoever had their points in for vanilla, you win. Tabby getting her Master Sword. We'll at least need that to complete the game. Getting the hammer dash there in Swamp Palace. I think that's actually the first time I've seen this, and I've been watching 4 years worth of VODs at work every day.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Oh, there's another heart. Are we gonna see like 10 or 11 hearts on Ganon fight?
Well, once Tabby completes this, we'll be back on equal HP. I don't think Chimo would ever be going back for that dig spot one, so yeah. Our runners will be equal. I mean, I do think that 8 to 9 hearts is pretty comfortable for most people, even if you're not super comfortable with the low percentage of it.
And with the blue mail, it kind of makes things a lot easier too.
Right, you can take several hugs from Ganon at this point. Also worth mentioning, Chimo did get the spooky setup there. That was the final activation.
So apparently Sonic turns into Mario if you're Bunny. Oh. Oh, this is just an absolute massacre.
Also worth noting that... Gotta take a look. We are most definitely in go mode.
Let's see, Desert Palace. Do we get... Oh yeah, we can mirror over there. Forgot about that.
Yeah, we can mirror into Desert. Misery Mire's done. Skullwoods we've already seen completed by Tabby, and this Cane of Smarty is all we needed for that Turtle Rock clear, because our pendants also, or medallions also quake. So yeah, we're just gonna see a boss rush at this point.
Yep. I did notice that it took a couple of bombs for Tabby to get here. Let's see if Tabby gets the first strike on the arrow. Yep. Okay, so just got the big key. Heading over to... Still can't remember the name of this boss in Desert Palace.
Our good old-fashioned Lamolas fight.
Is that how it's pronounced?
Yeah.
Lamolas.
It's one of those weird ones because it's Lanmolas, which is why you get Lanmo.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, it's. I always thought it was weird too. I always thought that people, whenever they said Moldorm, were saying Moldrum. So.
Tabby going for the checkerboard.
What have we got in checkerboard? Find out next on Right Now.
Oh, tempered. We got the fire sword. Yay!
We did see Chimo skip this. So we might be able to find that third progressive sword somewhere in the future. But I mean, Silver's tempered. This is about as nice as it comes.
Oh yeah. Extra bombs.
What is there? Lammo completion there from Chimo. Mentioning actually thinking about the silver on Argus. For some reason, I find it harder to land that single silver on Argus than it is to land all three in Landmos. And Argus always goes in the same pattern.
True. Very true. It just depends on, you know... I am gonna stop that comment right now, because I might infuriate possibly a few players.
Also, Ninjembro in chat actually one-upping me and being correct about it. Chima going back for the Tempered Sword after the Desert Palace completion.
Fair enough. Going back to Kakariko for Skullwoods. So, Chimo definitely ahead here. Wonder what the time difference is going to be towards the end.
You see, Ninjembro, I was thinking that maybe Chima would skip it and then go back for grab a different progressive sword. So that's where you one-upped me. I didn't think about that. I did not think about double dip and going back for it.
But you know what'd be funny? Is that the Butter Sword is in Gannis Tower again?
You know, there's always a fourth sword in Ganon's Tower. What do you mean?
So,
I'd be
once
grabbing
again,
Arcane.
our Vanilla Cane. Yep, yep, yep.
Yeah, I mean, as long as you have silvers going between Vidi and Landmos, I don't think there's much of a difference. Both bosses are very susceptible to them anyway. That was a pretty sly fire rod shot there from Chimo.
Indeed.
Also worth noting, I do not believe Tabby hook shot across that gap to grab that other heart container.
Ooh.
I like how we've turned this into a race of heart containers.
So, Chimo now with his 6th crystal?
Yeah?
Yeah. And all that's left is Turtle Rot.
And then just walk across the mountain and you're at Ganon's Tower.
Yep. Super easy, super simple. Excuse me, I had a frog in my throat there. Alright, time for the Massacre of the Eyeballs. Oh. And that'll do it for
down
that.
goes Vidi.
With the key. Oh, I didn't even realize that Vidi gave a key.
Yeah, especially if you play something like Keys Sanity. Keys and Misery Mire, it's just those keys that you just don't want to see.
I'm gonna have to try that mode at some point. So Blue Boomerang was found on Floating Island. I wonder if anyone really does the boomerangs anymore.
I don't think you go for them in a spoiler, but in other cases, depending on runners, some runners will prioritize boomerangs just for convenience, or if you can get it before a hook shot for stun prizes, if that might be useful as well.
Right, the stun prizes are also randomized. No, I forgot about that.
Yeah. Which, I know we've seen it at this point, and I think it was full magic? I don't remember.
Excuse me. Tabby now going to get the big key. And big key is...
Nope, I lied. Stun price is green rupees.
Oh, ew.
Yeah, I mean, if it's bombs or if it's, sometimes if it's red hearts, like, we like that too. It's just free HP.
But, green rupees, ugh.
When it's 20 rupees, we like to see that.
Yeah. I don't know. I say my favorite stun prize would have to be arrows. Because grabbing arrows can be a pain in the butt.
I think mine is probably full magic refills. You just stun an enemy and you get a full half magic meter back. I think that's unparalleled.
Yeah, that does sound pretty fair.
But it only really comes in clutch when you need that magic.
Right.
Which, good question. Are we going to see half magic this run? Don't need it, of course, but it's always nice.
We haven't seen too many runs with half magic. I think there was one maybe a couple of qualifiers ago. So we missed one arrow.
That was actually the same pattern out of Tabby. Oh! Grab that Landmo on his way down.
What?
Nicely done.
Nice shot.
I actually believe that was the same pattern and the same level of misses as well from Tabby as we saw from Chimo, so.
Yep. SpeedGaming posting that there is a Super Mario Odyssey bingo happening over on 6 and the No Logic Summer Tournament on 5. That's scary, the No Logic tournaments. I've seen some of those runners do some very strange things.
Yeah, if you're unfamiliar with a lot of the major glitches in A Link to the Past, it can be quite the spectacle to behold. I did get the privilege of commentating one in the past with Near and Lightshine.
Really?
And yeah, it was a no logic rods run. So there are two rods placed in two of each rod placed in the pool. So there's two fire rods, two ice rods. Obviously, you only need one of the fire rods and one of the ice rods. But between screen wrapping, the VRAM corruption, glitches, it's definitely a time, and it's definitely a learning opportunity.
Okay, so what is that room called with the lava? Because I don't think I remember seeing what was there.
In the lava chest?
Yeah.
Did we actually go for it? Because I thought we skipped it.
Nope. Chimo grabbed it.
Oh.
Lava chest with small key. Gotcha.
For some reason, I think my eyes might have just kind of glazed over, but I only remember the last part.
Okay,
I only remember killing the Pokey and getting the getting the chest. Okay, I remember killing the Pokey and then going back.
Yep. So again, not too many items being grabbed here. Just going for the go mode stuff.
I'm well aware. Well, I'm well aware. I think both of our runners are well aware that they're ready to just boss rush this.
Yep. Mr. Scruff Ninja Tuna letting us know that Tabby is just a couple of minutes behind. I don't see Chimo really making too many mistakes here, so I think this race is set in stone.
Did we get the fire rod switched in a pause menu before the ice head or the fire head exploded? You can't menu when the head is during the head explosion, but you can actually open the menu just before the head starts. I looked away for a second.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think Chimo did that. I think and just as we were saying that, I was looking away and didn't see what the prize was.
I believe it was 10 arrows.
Ah.
Which, if you needed arrows going into Ganon's tower, that is actually kind of a nice thing.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so how do I do the speed glitch?
Which speed glitch?
So I noticed that a lot of runners, like Chimo did just now, will tap with the hook shot on the stairs and then just suddenly just run.
So it's the super speed. I would have to tell you to just kind of look up a video and such for it. I personally still actually don't completely understand it. But there are two ways to do it, and it requires you to put yourself into a partial glitch state. One of them is they requires the boots though.
Gotcha.
Either way, it requires the boots.
Yeah.
I
think I just saw the blue cane on the boots lantern there.
All right. We don't really need it, but there's a big key chest.
Yeah, very first one.
Oh, sorry. Yep, I was correct. That was the big key chest. Not the vanilla one, of course. So yeah, we have Chimo here on the climb.
Yep.
Yeah, obviously for a spoiler run, we don't tend to run a Ganon's Tower big key guessing game because our runners do already know where it is, so they will always just beeline it towards it.
Well, there have been a couple of times where I've commentated, and they'll grab like one of the progressive items first before getting that key. So I usually say if you can guess, you know, within the first like 3 or 4 chests where the big key is, you know, I'll give you the shout out too.
Well, our 2 guesses were random room top left and firebar chest, and it was definitely neither of those.
Yep. Sorry, everyone. SpeedGaming again, shouting in us, letting us know that the Final Fantasy VI Randomizer weekly race is happening on SG4. I wonder what race we're gonna end up going to once this stream is over.
You know, one of my latest things that I've dove myself into that I can see is also definitely a growing community is the Final Fantasy Mystic Quest Randomizer. And if anybody's not checked it out but has played the game in the past, I would highly recommend it. It's one of the more simpler of some of these early games that you can play. But it's a lot of fun, and technically it is a no boss randomizer.
Oh my! I actually remember you talking about that too. And you were interviewing when I heard about that.
Yeah, I mean, I'll always give it all shoutless, you know, all like I will give it the shoutouts that it deserves. It's a brand new randomizer. It's still in beta testing. We need people to come play it. I did start to join the community. I've not gotten involved in daily races or other stuff yet. I might look at doing that sometime in the future, but it's definitely a really fun thing, and it's just interesting because it's a it's technically a bossless randomizer with the way that it works. You only need items to be able to complete it, other than obviously the final boss.
Right, of course. So Mystic Quest. I'm definitely gonna have to check that out. Tabby now grabbing their crystal and making their way over to GT.
What I'm talking about is the Final Fantasy Mystic Quest Randomizer. It's an offshoot of, I believe, Final Fantasy 1. This game came out a long time ago.
No, actually, so Final Fantasy Mystic Quest was its own thing. It was an introduction for the Western markets. Square Enix felt that the Western audience wasn't... What's the word? Good enough for their other titles at the time. So
yeah, it's one of those really interesting, very, very classic JRPGs.
It is a cult classic. It is... Oh, there's the half magic meter.
I'd love to see half magic.
So Tabby is gonna grab the safety there with the blue cane. Very, very interesting. And Chima going for Aga. With the power of geometry. 1, 2, 3 for the first. Oh, Chima's gonna get this. And there we go. 3, 1, 2. We're done. Time to go after Ganon.
All right, so we're gonna get our first runner here, dropping down into Ganon. Gotta love to see it.
Sklizer is saying, I don't love seeing half magic after Ganon Tower at Moldorm.
I mean, if you have no reason to check it, if you're feeling confident, everything else, then you know what? You don't need it. Personally, I just like to have half magic because it feels nice.
Ganon, saying the lyrics to Mama Number 5. Or not Mama Number 5. What am I talking about? God, the voodoo song. I can't even think of it now. And here I am as a millennial.
I wasn't even looking at the Ganon text. I was watching Tabby's Ganon climb. Yep, we're both out of it today. Gauntlet climb. That's the word I wanted. The other G word.
There we go. Chima doing a fantastic job with Ganon. I don't think it's touched or gotten a Ganon hug, so...
Just missed it. There you get 1, Get another one. Relight our... Oh.
Oop.
Put a fire rod shot into Ganon. He deserved it. And our final silver, taking down Ganon.
There we go. Let's get our GGs in chat for Chimo here. Who's going to make it with an official runtime of 53 minutes and 30 seconds.
All right. Meanwhile, we still have Tabby in the heart of her Ganon Tower climb.
Yep.
Moving here into Wizrobes 2, one of my favorite rooms in the game.
Wizrobes giving some arrows, always great. And it looks like Chimo's actually joined us here. GG's, Chimo.
GG's.
So I'm not good with interviews, so I'm going to leave that to you.
Well, I guess an initial thing is how did you feel about this seed in general? How did you feel about your routing?
It wasn't the worst. I blundered kind of around ice and going there early. I probably should have just got my boots out of thieves, like straight into Dark World. I've had that in my route, and then I saw that I didn't have a sword and that blind would be annoying, so I went to Death Mountain first. And then I was like, well, I have mitts, I should just get the flute so I can activate it. And then I didn't really think about having the cane and not having flippers. So I wasted a bunch of time there, probably a couple minutes. And then my ice routing was really bad too, because it was kind of on the fly. There's probably a key I should have grabbed somewhere, and it would have been a lot faster. So that was the main
Well,
bad
I guess the
thing.
initial thing is how did you feel about this seed in general? How did you feel about your routing?
Just a sec.
Chimo watching the stream while interviewing with that.
I didn't think I had the stream open, but
I was like, I know
feedback.
I'm hearing my voice.
Yeah.
I heard my own. I was very confused.
I don't think I have the stream open. I don't know what that was. We'll just assume it's fine. Yeah, but anyways, it was like pretty good. Other than that, I played okay. My execution wasn't like perfect or anything. So probably lost a few more minutes there. But otherwise, it was pretty good. It was a pretty good seed. You didn't have to do anything stupid. Boots were somewhat along the way. You even had the choice to like get them right away or not.
Yep. Yeah. So it looks like Tabby did the Agatha fight with 213. So it's a little tidbit as they're going into GT or into Ganon, I should say. Definitely check what Ganon is going to say here in a moment, though. How did you feel about that one, Chima?
What? I don't know what he said. I don't read that text.
Oh. Of course. It was the lyrics to the Voodoo song. I can't remember what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. People are going to rail on me because I called it Mama number 5.
Yeah, I mean, it's a small interesting thing between you and Tabby. I do believe you did going up towards Death Mountain first a little bit, and Tabby did go into Thieves Town to fight Blind. So she grabs her boots a little bit earlier than you. I actually had them for a decent amount of time because you didn't do Thieves Town until after Ice Palace, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I think that was probably a mistake, but yeah, I didn't have them for quite a while.
I do believe you also did have Lamp slightly earlier. I don't think it really impacted much though, because I don't think there was anything that Tabby was trying to do that were dark rooms. I think she did the old man rescue, but I think that might have been it. In terms of dark room.
I probably should have skipped it too. If it wasn't a qualifier, maybe I would. It's just sort of a nice safety when it's not crazy out of the way. And if you're gonna get it, you should get it right away for old man and everything to save what like frames you can.
Alright, so Tabby now finishing the Ganon fight with an official time of 57 minutes and 44 seconds. GG's in the chat for Tabby. probably be here shortly.
Yeah, GG's. I unfortunately can't stick around, so I'm going to take off. Thanks for comms and everything. GG's
Yeah.
to Tabby.
Thank you for the race.
And as we wait for Tabby to show up, want to thank. Oh, never mind. Tabby's here.
GG's Tabby.
Tabby? I think we have a bit of a mic issue, possibly.
Hey, it's never an interview without technical difficulties. We know that.
Yeah.
There we go.
Unfortunately, Chima having to head out a little bit early, but yeah, GG's and welcome.
Thanks. I just wanted to come in here, say hi, and then I have to run pretty quick, but I at least wanted to do a little one.
Yep, I mean, that's fine. How did you feel about your routing and the way that you played?
When I blanked on, like, somehow the Julian didn't work out immediately, and then I remembered that I didn't need to do it in the first place, I was like, okay, whoops. And then I felt really like, okay, like any of those kind of mistakes, and spoiler is like a huge mistake. So then I'm like, well, I'm going to go get my boots earlier than I expected to instead of doing all of that all at once. And then I'm pretty sure, like, then I was like, well, I'll just try it blind once. And then I was like, nah. The rest of it was fine after that, but eh.
I mean, I'm not one to necessarily pick, but yeah, your routing seems to be pretty nice. You and Chima did some interesting kind of high fives going back and forth a couple times. So
Yeah. I planned on going to ice before I went to Thieves Town because that way I could just knock all that out at once. But whenever I messed up on the Julian, and then I was like, I was trying to get the mirror before I went over to CAC. And so I was like, okay, well, I know I saw bombs in some kind of drop here. Which drop is it? I got to get this now. I'm like literally just wasted 45 seconds there, and I'm going to waste like 20 seconds trying to get this stupid drop, but I got to get this. I got to get the mirror before I go over there because the rest of what my routing was going to go. And then my brain was like, go get your boots. I was like, no, that's not what I said. And yeah, that was about it.
yeah, I mean, other than that, it was just kind of an execution thing. You guys, it was a pretty nice and simple. Everything was along the way. I mean, between the two of you, you had a 52 collection rate. Chimo had a 50 collection rate. Yeah, it was pretty nice and simple between the two of you.
Cool. Yeah, I know exactly where I lost the 4 minutes to chemo there. I know exactly, like, it was I planned on going to Thieves Town with a sword, and that didn't happen, and yeah. That was really, like, the biggest thing was losing that 90 plus seconds to blind there, and then the 45 to there, and, you know, the little bitty things all add up after about, you know, after 56 minutes, you can see how much things add up.
Right. It's just it's always hard to tell sometimes because I was, I participated and watched, commentated the race a few days ago, and we had our runners completely diverged. Then in Ganon's Tower, they converged them being nearly frame for frame, and they ended up finishing 14 seconds apart. So it sometimes it's just really hard to tell if, one runner says that I made a major mistake at this point, another one says, oh, I made this major mistake, and then you both finish at the same time. So
yeah. Well, thanks for the restream, and I gotta run. So, GG's, and hope you guys have a great night.
Yeah.
All right, take care, Tabby.
So I believe that will do it for the stream today. Again, GG's to both of our runners and to all of our runners for today's race. There were 9 participants. One is still going. this moment. Thank you to our tracker, Artero, for keeping an eye on everything and making sure to get everything tracked. Again, the tracker software is having some issues.
Yeah, I mean, when is our tracker software not having problems? I've had that so many times. And then you're at the mercy of Twitch chat gnawing at your heels.
But yeah, honestly, pretty good sub-hour spoiler open run. So again, GG's to everyone, and thank you, Alex, for showing up and helping me with commentating today, because I know for a fact I'm not a good color commentator myself.
I can swap back and forth between the play-by-play and the color. It just depends on what we're doing and who my co-com is.
Right. So yeah, that will be the end of the stream for today. The next qualifier race, I actually have the schedule up. I just gotta find it. Is going to be, let's see, we're qualifier 11. Next one is 12, and that will be tomorrow at 2:15 p.m. Eastern. So more for our European and Australian friends to do the races. I believe I will be commentating that one as well. So I will definitely see you guys next time. And yeah. Any final thoughts?
I mean, at least in the slightest, definitely go give both of our runners that we featured tonight a follow, Tabby Cat and Gmo.
Yes.
They both put on a pretty fantastic show. Their execution was pretty nice. I mean, between 52 and 50 in a collection rate, that's pretty low percentage. Definitely, give them a follow. They played really well. Also, do give Keonto a follow as well. My co-com and Ontario are a tracker. Both of them done a phenomenal job.
Yep.
And we definitely look forward to having you all back on another Speed Gaming stream.
Indeed. Everyone, have yourself a wonderful night. Take it easy, and have a good week.
Take care.
Bye for now.